Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Science Channel. Tonight, we'll be drifting far beneath the waves, into a world where sunlight fades and mysteries deepen. Down here, the water cools, the colors soften, and life takes on shapes beyond imagination. Beneath the ocean's glittering skin lies an alien realm that covers most of our planet. Yet we've explored only a tiny part of it. Mountains taller than Everest rise unseen in the dark. Coral forests sway like living cathedrals. Whales speak across entire oceans in songs older than language. And in the deepest trenches, where no light has ever touched, life glows softly. If you enjoy these quiet journeys, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here too. One sleepy soul at a time. For now, just breathe. Let your eyes grow heavy, and let the deep sea cradle your thoughts. Let's begin. Some jellyfish are essentially immortal. In the quiet depths of the sea, where time seems to stretch and fold upon itself, lives a creature that has found a way to almost stop aging. The tiny jellyfish Turritopsis donyi begins life as a drifting speck, grows into an adult, and when faced with stress, injury, or old age, performs a miracle of reversal. Its cells transform, turning back the clock to an earlier stage of life. It becomes young again, ready to start the cycle anew. Scientists call it biological immortality. No other creature on Earth has perfected this trick so completely. Though many jellyfish are fragile, living only for months, this one carries the secret of endless renewal in its translucent body, a rhythm of death and rebirth that echoes the tides themselves. It does not conquer time, but dances with it, endlessly, softly, forever returning to the beginning. Giant squids have eyes the size of dinner plates. Far below the waves, where darkness reigns eternal, the giant squid drifts in silence. Its eyes, each as large as a dinner plate, stare into the blackness with extraordinary sensitivity. These are the largest eyes known in the animal kingdom, windows the size of human heads, tuned to catch the faintest traces of light. Scientists believe they evolved to detect the glow of enormous predators, like sperm whales, moving through the abyss. Even the brief shimmer of bioluminescence stirred by motion can reach them. In that endless twilight, sight is life, and these immense eyes grant vision where almost none should exist. For centuries, the giant squid was only a sailor's legend, glimpsed in stories of monstrous tentacles and shipwrecked horrors. But the truth is even stranger. A vast, intelligent creature of the deep, perfectly adapted to a world without sun, seeing with eyes made for darkness. Octopuses can taste with their arms. Every arm of an octopus is a mind of its own. Each one is lined with hundreds of suction cups, and within those tiny circular mouths lie clusters of sensory cells that can taste the world around them. When an octopus glides over coral or reaches into a crevice, it isn't just feeling, it's sampling the chemistry of its surroundings. It knows instantly if what it touches is stone, shell, or living prey. Its body becomes a map of sensation. What's more, its arms can act independently, exploring and reacting even without direct orders from the brain. It is as though the octopus is made of 8 curious explorers, all working in elegant coordination. This strange distribution of intelligence, mind flowing through muscle, gives the octopus a kind of alien grace. It doesn't think like we do. It feels, it tastes, it decides, all at once, all over. A mantis shroop's punch is as fast as a bullet. Hidden in coral burrows lurks a tiny predator with a thunderous secret. The mantis shrimp, bright as a living jewel, wields claws that strike with blistering speed. When it attacks, its limbs move so fast they create a pocket of superheated vapor in the water. The collapse of that bubble generates a shock wave strong enough to shatter shells, glass, or the exoskeletons of crabs. Scientists have measured these strikes at speeds nearing that of a handgun bullet, delivered by a creature only a few inches long. The impact even produces a brief flash of light, a tiny underwater explosion. The mantis shrimp's eyes, meanwhile, are among the most advanced in nature, capable of seeing ultraviolet and polarized light beyond human comprehension. It lives in a rainbow world we cannot perceive, armed with the speed of thunder and the vision of a god, a spark of cosmic power in miniature. Sea cucumbers can eject their organs as a defense. On the seafloor, the humble sea cucumber seems peaceful, slow, and unassuming. Yet when threatened, it performs one of the strangest defenses in the animal kingdom. It ejects part of its own insides. Through a sudden muscular contraction, it expels its internal organs into the water, a sticky, tangled mess that confuses and entangles predators. Some even release toxic filaments that can paralyze small fish. To human eyes, it seems like an act of self-destruction, but for the sea cucumber, it is renewal. Within weeks, it regrows everything it lost: stomach, intestines, and all. This remarkable regeneration is more than survival, it's transformation. It's as though the creature treats danger not as an ending, but as a cue to begin again. Slowly, patiently, it rebuilds itself from within, a living lesson in resilience beneath the quiet waves. Blue whales sing songs that can travel hundreds of miles. The blue whale, the largest creature ever to have lived on Earth, speaks in voices so deep they vibrate through the bones of the planet. Their calls can carry for hundreds of miles through the cold water, low notes that roll and fade like distant thunder. To other whales, these songs form a map of presence, a way of saying, "I am here," across the emptiness of the sea. Some calls are so low that human ears can barely detect them. Each whale has its own variations, long, mournful pulses that may serve as communication, courtship, or navigation. In the stillness of the deep, their music becomes a kind of underwater weather, shaping how other creatures move and respond. It's astonishing to imagine. Across entire oceans, these giants sing to one another, their songs echoing through a liquid world older than memory itself. Anglerfish males fuse into females for life. In the dark reaches of the abyss, the anglerfish carries its own lantern, a living lure that glows with bacterial light. Yet its strangest mystery is not its light, but its love. In many species, the male is tiny, fragile, and short-lived. When he finds a female, an encounter that may take months in the vast blackness, he bites her side and never lets go. Over time, their bodies fuse. His organs wither, his bloodstream merges with hers. He becomes a permanent part of her, providing sperm whenever needed, nourished by her body in return. Some females carry multiple fused males, small, living companions along their flanks. What began as a hunt for a mate ends in a kind of biological union, unlike anything else in the animal world, a quiet merging of two lives in the dark, lit by a small, eternal light. Dolphins give themselves unique names through whistles. Among the many sounds that ripple through the sea, the dolphin's voice is one of the most expressive. Each individual creates a distinctive whistle, a pattern of notes that functions like a name. Dolphins use these signature whistles to identify themselves and to call out to friends or family across great distances. It is not imitation, it is invention. Even calves develop their own names while still swimming beside their mothers. In studies, when a dolphin hears its own whistle played back through speakers, it responds instantly. recognizing itself. These names can be remembered for years, perhaps decades. They reveal something extraordinary about dolphin intelligence, a sense of identity, memory, and social awareness that blurs the line between animal communication and language. In the shimmering blue of the ocean, each dolphin carries its own melody, a song that says, simply and clearly, "I am me." Some crabs decorate themselves with living sponges. Camouflage is an art form in the ocean, and few artists are more creative than decorated crabs. These small crustaceans collect bits of sponge, seaweed, coral, or shell, attaching them to tiny hook-like hairs on their shells. The result is a living disguise that changes with their surroundings. Some even trim sponges to fit perfectly, encouraging them to grow over the carapace like living armor. The relationship can be symbiotic. The sponge gains mobility and access to new feeding grounds, while the crab gains protection from predators. Each crab's decoration style is unique, a blend of instinct and environment, like a little underwater fashion designer. Scientists have found species that carry sea anemones on their claws, using their stinging tentacles as weapons. Beneath the waves, survival often means becoming part of the landscape, and these clever crabs have turned adaptation into an art. Seahorses are the only animals where males give birth. In the gentle sway of seagrass meadows, the seahorse drifts upright, delicate as a dream. When it comes to reproduction, it follows a rule found nowhere else in nature. It is the male who becomes pregnant. After a courtship dance of curling tails and synchronized motion, the female deposits her eggs into a special pouch on the male's abdomen. There, he fertilizes and nurtures them, controlling temperature and salinity, and supplying oxygen through a network of blood vessels. After several weeks, he goes into labor, releasing hundreds of tiny, perfectly formed seahorses into the water. Then, the cycle begins again. Scientists believe this role reversal evolved as a way to increase survival, both parents sharing the burden of creation. In that quiet underwater world, the seahorse stands as a small symbol of tenderness, patience, and balance, proof that nature's imagination knows no bounds. The Greenland shark can live for over 400 years. In the icy waters of the North Atlantic drifts a creature older than any tree alive today. The Greenland shark moves slowly, its heartbeat a lazy rhythm barely once every 12 seconds. Scientists have dated some individuals to more than 4 centuries old, making them the longest-lived vertebrates on Earth. When these sharks were born, the world was still in the age of Shakespeare. They spend centuries cruising in cold darkness, growing only a few centimeters a year, feeding mostly on fish and seals. Their flesh is toxic when fresh, filled with compounds that act like antifreeze. It must be fermented for humans to eat it safely. How a creature can endure for so long remains a mystery. Perhaps their frigid environment slows life itself. In that deep, timeless water, the Greenland shark is a patient ghost, gliding through centuries with silent, ancient calm. Deep-sea dragonfish have transparent teeth. The dragonfish is a phantom of the abyss, sleek, black, and glowing with eerie lights along its sides. Yet its most unusual feature lies inside its mouth, teeth that are perfectly transparent. Made of a special crystalline structure, they reflect almost no light, allowing the dragonfish to remain invisible even when it opens its jaws. In the darkness of the deep sea, this stealth gives it an unmatched advantage. It can lunge at prey without the faintest glint betraying its presence. The dragonfish also wields a bioluminescent lure that dangles from its chin, glowing faintly to attract unsuspecting victims. When it strikes, it's swift, silent, and precise. These creatures inhabit depths where pressure would crush steel, but they thrive, armed with invisibility and light. In a world of eternal night, the dragonfish is both hunter and ghost, a masterpiece of adaptation carved by darkness itself. Some fish can walk on land using modified fins. Nature loves to blur boundaries, and some fish have taken that rule to heart, literally stepping beyond the sea. The mudskipper, for instance, spends much of its life above water, using its muscular fins to crawl, hop, and even climb mangrove roots. Its skin and mouth are lined with blood vessels that allow it to absorb oxygen directly from the air. Others, like the climbing perch, can wriggle across dry land for miles in search of new ponds. In tropical wetlands, this mobility can mean the difference between survival and suffocation. Watching one move is surreal, the grace of swimming replaced by a comical, determined shuffle. Yet this ability may echo the ancient moment when the first fish-like creatures ventured ashore hundreds of millions of years ago, giving rise to amphibians, reptiles, and eventually, us. Each mudskipper then carries a memory of evolution's boldest step. Electric eels can deliver shocks strong enough to stun horses. In the murky rivers of South America lives a creature that commands lightning. The electric eel, which is actually a kind of knife fish, generates powerful electric fields within specialized cells called electrocytes. When threatened or hunting, it discharges these cells in unison, releasing jolts reaching up to 600 volts, enough to knock a horse unconscious or light a string of bulbs. The shock travels instantly through water, stunning prey and dissuading predators. Even more astonishing, the eel can modulate its current, using low-voltage pulses to navigate and communicate, and high-voltage bursts to strike. When it wraps around a fish, it fires rapid pulses that force the prey's muscles to contract uncontrollably, immobilizing it completely. This living battery has evolved not only power, but precision, a weapon built from biology, a thunderstorm contained within skin. In its quiet river home, the eel carries the spark of electricity itself. A blue whale's tongue weighs as much as an elephant. The blue whale is a living monument, vast, serene, and incomprehensibly large. Its tongue alone can weigh as much as a full-grown elephant, and its heart is the size of a small car. Yet despite its scale, this gentle giant feeds on creatures smaller than a fingernail, tiny shrimp-like krill. By gulping enormous mouthfuls of seawater and then forcing it out through baleen plates, the whale filters millions of krill in a single meal. During feeding season, a blue whale can consume several tons of krill each day. Its voice, low and thunderous, can travel across entire oceans. And though its heart beats slowly, sometimes only once every 10 seconds, each beat sends life coursing through the largest body ever known. The blue whale is not only enormous, it is an ocean in motion, a living continent of calm strength and endless grace. Vampire squids use glowing mucus clouds instead of ink. In the Megnibe zone of the ocean, where sunlight never reaches, the vampire squid drifts like a living ember. Despite its name, it drinks no blood. Its title comes from its dark, cloak-like webbing and deep crimson hue. When threatened, it performs a defensive trick unlike any other. Instead of black ink, it releases a cloud of glowing mucus, shimmering with blue bioluminescence. The light distracts predators, giving the squid time to vanish into darkness. Its delicate arms are lined with light-producing organs, and its body glows faintly in pulses, fading in and out like slow breathing. It lives in some of the lowest oxygen environments on Earth, surviving where most others cannot. The vampire squid is not a monster, but a survivor of ancient lineage, a creature of quiet endurance, cloaked in light and shadow, adrift in the endless night of the sea. The pistol shrimp creates a bubble louder than a jet engine. Small enough to fit in your hand, the pistol shrimp wields one of the most extraordinary weapons in the animal kingdom. With a sudden snap of its specialized claw, it slams water together so fast that it creates a bubble of vapor. When this bubble collapses, it produces a shock wave that momentarily reaches temperatures as hot as the surface of the sun and generates a sound louder than a jet engine. The blast is powerful enough to stun or kill nearby prey. Even more remarkable, the collapse of the bubble emits a tiny flash of light, a phenomenon known as bioluminescence. The pistol shrimp uses its claw not just as a weapon, but as a tool for communication, producing bursts and clicks that others can hear. In coral reefs, its staccato rhythm echoes like soft gunfire, a reminder that power can hide within the smallest of claws. Some worms form living knots to ensnare prey. In the deep ocean, where light and color fade to nothing, lives a group of predators known as ribbon worms. Slender, graceful, and often longer than a person, they possess an astonishing hunting tool, a proboscis that can shoot from their mouths like a harpoon. In some species, this proboscis unfurls into sticky threads that twist and knot around prey, binding it in a living snare. Once captured, the worm pulls its meal inward, swallowing it whole. Some species produce venom strong enough to subdue crustaceans instantly. The sight of a ribbon worm feeding is both eerie and mesmerizing, a slow ballet of tendrils winding through the dark. These creatures remind us that evolution's creativity knows no limits. In the abyss, survival is a matter of invention, and even the simplest bodies can perform the most elaborate feats of strategy and grace. Sea turtles can detect Earth's magnetic field. Each year, sea turtles undertake migrations that span entire oceans, returning with uncanny precision to the beaches where they were born. Scientists have long wondered how they navigate such vast distances through the featureless sea. The answer lies in an invisible sense: magnetoception. Sea turtles can detect Earth's magnetic field, reading it as though it were a map. Subtle variations in intensity and angle provide them with cues about latitude and longitude. Even hatchlings, released into the surf for the first time, orient themselves toward the open ocean using this built-in compass. Decades later, the same turtles will find their way back to that birthplace to lay eggs of their own. It's a navigation system written into their biology, connecting them to the planet itself. In a world of drifting tides, they follow a path traced not by stars, but by the very magnetism of Earth's heart. Some sharks glow green in the dark. When the lights of the sun fade into the deep, some sharks begin to glow. Species such as the chain catchark and swell shark possess skin that emits a soft green fluorescence under blue ocean light. This glow isn't produced by bioluminescent bacteria, but by molecules within the shark's skin that absorb and re-emit light at different wavelengths. To human eyes, it's a subtle shimmer. To other sharks, it may be a bright signal, helping them identify one another in dim waters. The pattern of their glow is unique to each species, forming living constellations drifting through the sea. Scientists believe this fluorescence could also serve to camouflage the sharks against faint light from above. It's a quiet radiance, invisible until revealed by the right light, a secret language of color written in the dark, spoken only by the deep's most graceful hunters. The barrel-eye fish has a transparent head. Imagine a fish whose skull is clear as glass. The barrel-eye floats in the black depths, its bulbous green eyes staring upward through a transparent dome of skin and bone. Those eyes can rotate inside their heads, allowing them to look both forward and up simultaneously, watching for prey silhouetted against faint light above. The rest of the body is small and delicate, but the head glows faintly, filled with shimmering organs. For years, scientists thought the barrel eye's eyes were fixed in place. Only recently did cameras reveal their true movement. This adaptation allows them to hover motionless, conserving energy in the still, cold deep. The transparent dome protects their sensitive vision from the stinging tentacles of jellyfish, their favorite food. It's a creature both strange and beautiful, a living window through which the ocean seems to gaze back at itself. Some eels migrate thousands of miles to spawn only once. The life of an eel is a story written in mystery. Born in the far depths of the Sargasso Sea, young eels drift on ocean currents for years before reaching the rivers of Europe, Africa, or North America. There they grow, feed, and change from transparent larvae to sleek, muscular adults. When the time comes to reproduce, something ancient stirs within them. They stop eating, turn silver, and set out on a final journey back to the open sea, thousands of miles against the current, to spawn and die. No one has ever witnessed an eel's spawning in the wild. For centuries, their reproduction was a complete enigma, baffling naturalists. Even now, their exact paths remain partly unknown. The eel's life is a cycle of transformation and mystery, a migration across time and ocean, ending where it began, in the quiet cradle of the deep. Blobfish look normal at depth, but melt at the surface. The blobfish has become a kind of comic icon, often labeled the ugliest animal. But its appearance is misunderstood. In the crushing pressure of the deep ocean, thousands of feet below the surface, the blobfish's gelatinous body is perfectly adapted. It lacks a swim bladder, the gas-filled organ most fish use to control buoyancy, and instead relies on soft, jelly-like flesh that matches the density of seawater. This allows it to float effortlessly just above the seafloor. But when brought to the surface, the sudden drop in pressure causes its body to expand and lose shape, turning it into the saggy, blobby figure we recognize. In its natural home, it's a streamlined creature of quiet grace. The blobfish reminds us how context shapes beauty, that even the strangest forms can be elegant where they belong, sculpted by the physics of their hidden world. Certain starfish can regrow an entire body from one arm. The starfish, or sea star, carries a secret of near-miraculous regeneration. If one loses an arm, torn away by predator or storm, it can regrow it completely. In some species, even a single severed arm can grow into a whole new animal, provided part of the central disc remains. This process can take months or years, but it restores everything: nerves, muscles, skin, and even the tiny tube feet used for movement. Scientists study these abilities to understand how regeneration might someday help humans heal spinal injuries or lost tissue. The starfish's power lies in its simple design, decentralized, resilient, endlessly renewing. Beneath the waves, regeneration is not rare, it's a strategy. For the starfish, survival means patience. Every lost piece becomes a beginning again, a quiet echo of nature's endless will to restore what was once broken. Hagfish release slime that can clog a predator's gills. Among the strangest of all sea creatures is the hagfish, ancient, jawless, and slimy beyond imagination. When threatened, it secretes clouds of mucus from hundreds of tiny pores along its body. Within seconds, the water around it becomes thick and gelatinous, enough to clog the gills of any attacking fish. The hagfish then ties itself in a knot, sliding the loop along its body to wipe away its own slime and escape. Its defense is both grotesque and ingenious, a natural non-Newtonian fluid that can expand from a spoonful to liters of goo almost instantly. Hagfish are scavengers, feeding on dead or dying animals that sink to the ocean floor. They slip inside carcasses and eat from within, recycling nutrients back into the ecosystem. Ugly, yes, but essential, ancient survivors, unchanged for hundreds of millions of years, cloaked in slime and patience. Narwhal tusks are actually giant spiral teeth. In the icy waters of the Arctic swims the narwhal, a whale that seems sculpted from myth. Its long, spiraling tusk can reach nearly 3 meters in length, but this ivory spear isn't a horn at all. It's an elongated tooth, usually the left canine, that grows straight through the upper lip in a graceful twist. Inside, millions of nerve endings make it one of the most sensitive organs in the animal kingdom. Narwhals may use it to sense temperature, pressure, or salinity changes in the water, perhaps even to communicate. Some males wield 2 tusks, while females sometimes have none. Their gatherings are quiet, marked by clicks and whistles beneath the ice. In the pale northern seas, their tusks flash like frozen lightning, reminders that nature's strangest designs often carry a purpose hidden in beauty. Some fish sleep inside bubbles of mucus for protection. Among coral reefs, the parrotfish ends each day with a bedtime ritual. As dusk falls, it secretes a clear cocoon of mucus, but envelops its body like a shimmering sleeping bag. This bubble hides its scent from predators such as moray eels, and may even act as an alarm. Vibrations from approaching danger ripple through the film and wake the fish. The bubble also shields the parrotfish from parasites that drift through the night water. When morning comes, it simply slips free and swims away. Scientists believe this nightly routine evolved as an ingenious defense, a soft, self-made barrier between vulnerability and safety. It's strangely relatable, this little creature tucking itself in before sleep, wrapped in its own handmade blanket beneath the reef's gentle sway, resting in the luminous quiet of the underwater world. Moray eels have a second set of jaws inside their throats. Hidden within the sinuous body of the moray eel lies one of evolution's most surprising inventions, a second set of jaws. Called pharyngeal jaws, they sit deep in the throat, waiting. When the eel captures prey with its outer jaws, these inner jaws shoot forward, grab the struggling meal, and pull it back into the throat. It's the same double jaw mechanism famously imagined in science fiction's Alien, but it's entirely real in the sea. This adaptation lets morays hold onto slippery fish in the narrow tunnels of coral reefs where suction feeding wouldn't work. Watching them feed is mesmerizing and eerie, a swift, coordinated dance of 2 mouths. Their long, serpentine forms and sharp teeth give them a fearsome look, but most morays are shy, avoiding divers and resting in crevices by day. They are ancient, elegant predators, the silent shadows of the reef. Sea spiders can carry their organs in their legs. The sea spider looks delicate, like a walking skeleton made of glass. Found in oceans around the world, from tropical shallows to Antarctic depths, these creatures are not true spiders but distant relatives. Their bodies are so small and thin that most of their vital organs, including parts of their digestive system and reproductive organs, extend into their long, spindly legs. This design allows them to stay light and efficient, powered by a slow pulse that moves blood through their narrow limbs. Some species grow as large as dinner plates in polar waters, where cold temperatures allow oxygen to dissolve more easily into their bodies. They creep across the seafloor on legs that seem too fragile for life, yet they thrive in conditions that would kill most other creatures. Fragile in form but resilient in spirit, sea spiders are proof that delicacy and strength can coexist. Some squid can turn their skin into living light shows. Squid are the masters of illusion beneath the sea. Embedded in their skin are millions of specialized cells called chromatophores, iridophores, and leucophores, each capable of reflecting or absorbing light in different ways. By expanding or contracting these cells, a squid can change color in an instant, flashing patterns that ripple across its body like liquid fire. Some species communicate this way, using pulses of color to coordinate movements or warn rivals. Others use it to vanish, matching the flicker of light filtering through waves above. In the deep sea, bioluminescent squid add another layer, producing their own light through chemical reactions. The result is a living display of color and glow, as though the night itself has learned to dance. In their luminous skin, art and survival merge, a spectacle that belongs to both biology and magic. Dolphins use tools, such as sponges, to protect their snouts. In the shallow waters of Shark Bay, Australia, researchers have watched wild dolphins doing something astonishing, using tools. Certain females pluck sea sponges from the seafloor and wear them over their beaks like soft gloves. With these natural sponges, they probe the sandy bottom in search of buried fish, the cushion protecting their sensitive skin from scrapes and stings. What's remarkable is that this behavior isn't instinctive. It's learned and passed down from mother to child, generation after generation. The dolphins that practice it even form their own cultural group, known to scientists as spongers. This means dolphin society has traditions, knowledge carried through families, reshaping how we understand animal intelligence. Beneath the surface, these sleek, laughing creatures show us that culture, curiosity, and invention are not uniquely human. They are woven through the living sea. Leatherback turtles can dive deeper than whales. The leatherback sea turtle is a titan of endurance, the largest of all turtles, with a body built for the open ocean. Unlike its hard-shelled relatives, its leathery carapace flexes under pressure, allowing it to dive deeper than nearly any other air-breathing animal, sometimes descending more than 4,000 feet beneath the waves, deeper than many whales. Down there, in the black cold, it hunts jellyfish, its throat lined with backward-pointing spines that hold the slippery prey. To survive such pressure and chill, the leatherback's blood chemistry shifts, conserving oxygen and maintaining body heat through slow, powerful strokes. When it finally returns to the surface, it exhales a mist of ancient air, a breath drawn from the bottom of the world. The leatherback's migrations can span oceans, yet it always returns to the same beaches where its ancestors nested for millions of years. Seahorses have prehensile tails like monkeys. Drifting upright among waving grasses, the seahorse moves with an elegance that feels almost unearthly. Unlike most fish, it doesn't rely on speed or stealth, but on stillness. Its tail, coiled like a spring, is prehensile, able to grasp and hold. When currents rise, it anchors itself to coral or seaweed, curling around it with quiet strength. The structure of this tail is a marvel of natural engineering. Square, bony plates, interlocked in a way that makes it both flexible and nearly crush-proof. Engineers study it to design better robotic grips and protective armor. In the seahorse's delicate body lies a pattern of strength, perfected by time. It is a creature made for calm, a master of staying still in a moving world, clinging gently to its place amid the endless sway of the sea. Some clams can live for over 500 years. Hidden beneath the sand, the ocean quahog lives its long, slow life in silence. Scientists have found individuals more than 500 years old, living fossils that were already filtering seawater before the Renaissance began. Their shells grow layer upon layer, recording each passing year like rings in a tree. Inside, metabolism slows to a crawl. and time itself seems to stretch. These clams feed on microscopic plankton, filtering vast amounts of water with every breath. They are among Earth's most reliable timekeepers. Their shells preserve traces of ancient climate patterns, encoding centuries of change. When one opens, its polished interior gleams like mother of pearl, hiding centuries of patience within. Few creatures remind us so clearly that life's truest strength is endurance, the quiet persistence of a heart that never hurries. Certain crabs wave their claws to attract mates like flags. Along tropical shores, the sand flickers with movement. Male fiddler crabs, each armed with one oversized claw, stand at the entrances to their burrows and wave rhythmically at passing females. The gestures are surprisingly precise, complex dances that signal strength, fitness, and charm. Each wave catches the light, glittering like a semaphore of courtship. Females watch closely, choosing the suitor with the most elegant display. If rival males come too near, the waving turns to combat, claws clashing like sabers. Yet the gesture itself, that strange, delicate flag of life, is what ensures the next generation. Scientists have discovered that each species of fiddler crab has its own distinctive rhythm, as though every beach carries its own music. Beneath the warm hum of the tide, the sand is alive with countless tiny performers, dancing the oldest waltz in the world. Sea slugs can photosynthesize like plants. The emerald sea slug, Elysia chlorotica, glows with an impossible green, not from pigment, but from the power of sunlight itself. This strange creature steals the chloroplasts from the algae it eats, incorporating them into its own cells. With these stolen parts, it performs photosynthesis, turning sunlight into energy, just like a plant. Scientists call it kleptoplasty, a fusion of animal and plant life. For months, even without food, the slug can survive by basking in the light, glowing faintly beneath the waves. Its shimmering green leaf-like body allows it to blend with seaweed, invisible to predators. In a world divided by categories, animal, plant, predator, prey, this little slug exists in between. It reminds us that evolution is not rigid, but imaginative, blurring boundaries in ways both mysterious and beautiful. Hammerhead sharks have nearly 360-degree vision. The hammerhead shark's wide, wing-shaped head seems almost comical, until you realize it's a masterpiece of sensory design. Those eyes, set at the far ends of its flattened skull, give it a panoramic field of view nearly 360 degrees wide. It can see above, below, and on both sides simultaneously. The shape also houses special sensors that detect faint electric signals emitted by prey hiding in sand. When it sweeps its head side to side, it's reading invisible currents, mapping the world in electric whispers. Despite their fearsome look, hammerheads are graceful swimmers, gliding like aircraft through warm tropical waters. At dusk, they sometimes form vast schools, moving as one through blue twilight. They are precision embodied, sleek, strange, and perfectly tuned to the quiet language of the sea. The giant isopod resembles a pillbug from the deep. In the pitch-black depths of the ocean floor crawls a creature that looks oddly familiar, like a giant version of the pillbugs found under garden stones. The giant isopod can grow over a foot long, its armored shell gleaming pale lavender in the dark. It is a scavenger, feeding on the remains of whales, fish, and squid that fall from above. In this frozen desert, meals are rare, so it can go for years without food, surviving on stored fat and patience. When it does find a feast, it gorges until its body bulges tight. Its eyes, huge and reflective, capture the faintest glimmer of bioluminescence. Though it looks prehistoric, the giant isopod is perfectly modern, a survivor of the deep's quiet, crushing pressure. It's the sea's reminder that even the most alien forms are echoes of home. Some fish communicate with flatulence. Among coral reefs where color and noise intertwine, some species of herring have developed a curious form of communication. They pass gas. By releasing bubbles from their swim girders through their anal ducts, they produce faint, high-pitched sounds that other herring can hear. Scientists call these noises fast repetitive ticks, or FRT, though the real mystery lies in why they exist. It's thought they may help fish keep together in schools at night, or signal danger when visibility drops. The sound travels surprisingly far underwater, carrying through the shoal like a coded whisper. It's a reminder that communication in the ocean takes countless forms, from the songs of whales to the secret squeaks of gas bubbles in the dark. Even a little flatulence, in the grand design of evolution, can become language. Eels can conduct electricity through chains of bodies. Electric eels, when hunting or defending themselves, have a shocking habit, sometimes quite literally. When several gather in shallow pools, they may line up side by side, discharging their electric pulses in synchrony. The combined shock is magnified, rippling through the water like a living current. Observers have seen entire schools coordinating attacks on swarming fish this way, a rare example of electrical cooperation. Even a single eel, wrapping around prey, can create a circuit with its own body, sending controlled waves of electricity through the victim. The eel's muscles generate power with the precision of a finely tuned device, evolution's own battery. In murky South American rivers, where sight fails and sound muffles, these creatures command their world through invisible fields. They are living conductors, weaving lightning through water. Male seahorses can expel hundreds of babies at once. When the time comes for birth, the male seahorse trembles with effort. From a small pouch on his belly, he contracts his body, pushing out clouds of miniature seahorses, sometimes hundreds in a single swirling burst. Each tiny one is a perfect replica of its parents, complete with a curling tail and snout. Once they emerge, the father's work is done. The babies drift away to face the vastness alone. It's a tender yet bittersweet sight, a storm of new life scattering like plankton into the current. For days afterward, the exhausted male rests, his pouch empty and pale. In the quiet afterbirth of the tide, he sways in the current, ready to heal. The sight of those tiny newborns, spiraling upward through shafts of light, is one of nature's softest miracles, a constellation of new hearts rising from the sea. Some rays leap high into the air for reasons still unknown. On calm days in tropical seas, observers have seen manta rays and mobulas hurl themselves from the water in great arcs, wings spread wide. The splash echoes across the waves like a drumbeat. Why they do this remains a mystery. Some scientists think it's a form of communication, a sonic signal that travels through water and air. Others believe it's courtship, play, or a way to dislodge parasites. Whatever the reason, the sight is mesmerizing. A creature so large, so serene, rising from the water as if to taste the air. These rays can reach widths of more than 20 feet, yet they move with effortless grace, flapping like living kites. When they leap, for a heartbeat they bridge two worlds, sea and sky, before returning to the silence below, leaving only a widening circle of foam behind. Whale sharks have mouths wide enough to swallow a car. The whale shark, despite its name, is not a whale at all, but the largest fish in existence. Its mouth stretches over 5 feet wide, large enough to swallow a small car, though it feeds only on plankton. With each slow glide, It filters thousands of gallons of water, straining out tiny life forms in a gentle, endless feast. Its spotted skin resembles a night sky, every pattern unique like a fingerprint. Divers who swim alongside it describe a feeling of awe more than fear, its massive form moving with the serenity of a drifting island. Whale sharks migrate thousands of miles across the oceans, following invisible highways of temperature and current. They are giants of peace, reminders that size and power need not mean ferocity. In the open blue, the whale shark is a cathedral of calm. Some octopuses collect coconut shells for shelter. In tropical waters, the veined octopus has been observed carrying coconut shells across the sea floor, a sight so oddly human that scientists could scarcely believe it. The octopus gathers the halves, stacks them, and when danger approaches, retreats inside, sealing itself like a hermit in a movable home. This behavior is considered true tool use, the only known case among invertebrates where a creature carries an object for future protection. Watching one scuttle across the sand, arms curled around its precious cargo, feels like witnessing thought itself in motion. It's not instinct, but planning, a quiet intelligence at work. When the threat passes, the octopus leaves its shelter, ready to reclaim it later. In that simple act lies something profound, awareness of the future, of self and of safety, a mind unfolding in the dark, one shell at a time. Clownfish can change sex to maintain their social group. In the bright coral gardens of the Pacific, the lives of clownfish revolve around anemones, living fortresses whose stinging tentacles keep predators away. Each colony has a hierarchy, a dominant female, a smaller breeding male, and several even smaller non-breeding helpers. If the female dies, the male undergoes a complete transformation. His hormones shift, and he becomes the new female. The mixed fishing line becomes the new male, and the cycle continues. This flexibility keeps the group stable, ensuring that the anemone always hosts a breeding pair. It's a remarkable reminder that gender in nature can be fluid, a practical solution to survival. As the fish dart between the soft waving tendrils, glowing orange and white in the filtered light, they embody the quiet adaptability of life, forever adjusting, forever finding balance. Sea otters hold hands while sleeping, so they do not drift apart. At night, in the cool kelp forests of the Pacific, sea otters float on their backs, wrapped in strands of seaweed. Often they link paws with one another, forming gentle rafts that drift together in the moonlight. This behavior, called rafting, keeps them from being carried away by currents while they sleep. Otters have some of the densest fur in the animal kingdom, more than 1 million hairs per square inch, trapping warm air to survive in icy waters. Before resting, they spend hours grooming, combing air through their coats with tiny forepaws. When they finally close their eyes, they bob gently in the kelp, anchored and safe, tiny ripples shining around them. Holding hands is not affection in the human sense, but it feels like love, a shared stillness in a cold and moving world. Squid can rewrite their own genetic code. In a twist that has stunned geneticists, certain squid have the ability to edit their own RNA, the molecular script that tells cells how to build proteins. Instead of following the static blueprint in their DNA, these squid modify the instructions on the fly, allowing them to adapt rapidly to changes in temperature, pressure, or environment. This is like rewriting the code of life while it's running, something no other complex animal is known to do at this scale. The discovery hints at intelligence deeper than behavior, a molecular intelligence, written into the body itself. It may explain how squid can thrive in such varied conditions, from warm shallows to frigid depths. In the grand theater of evolution, they're not just performers but editors, revising their biology in real time to suit the sea's shifting moods. Some fish can live inside a sea cucumber's body. The pearlfish leads one of the ocean's strangest lives. Slender and eel-like, it spends its days hidden within the body of a sea cucumber, entering through the creature's rear opening and living inside its digestive tract. There, it finds shelter from predators, venturing out at night to feed. Some species even live in pairs, sharing the same host. While the arrangement may seem parasitic, many pearlfish do little harm to their hosts, nibbling only on small particles or tissue. To humans, it seems bizarre, but in the sea's vast web of relationships, it's simply another form of coexistence. The pearlfish's home is soft, safe, and dark, a pocket of warmth in the cold abyss. Life, it seems, finds refuge in the most unexpected places. Archerfish can shoot jets of water with pinpoint accuracy. In the mangrove shallows of Southeast Asia, archerfish patrol the roots, their eyes trained upward toward the canopy. Spotting an insect perched on a leaf, they take aim, adjusting for refraction, the way light bends between air and water. Then, with a sudden flick of their gills and tongue, they fire a jet of water so precise that it knocks the insect into the sea. Their accuracy is astonishing. They can hit targets several feet away, even moving ones. Young archerfish practice relentlessly, missing again and again until they master the physics of their world. Watching them is like watching nature's engineers at play, combining instinct and calculation in a single shimmering act. Each shot is a tiny triumph, proof that even small minds can solve great problems when the ocean is their teacher. Certain worms eat whale bones on the seafloor. When a whale dies and sinks to the abyss, it becomes an island of life, AU whale fall, that can feed ecosystems for decades. Among the first arrivals are strange creatures called osedacs, or bone-eating worms. These ghostly, flower-like beings lack mouths or stomachs. Instead, they grow root-like structures that burrow into the bones, dissolving fat and protein with the help of symbiotic bacteria. Males are microscopic, living inside the females' bodies, existing only to fertilize eggs. The worms turn death into nourishment, transforming decay into abundance. Around them gather crabs, snails, and eels, a miniature world built on what once lived large. Even in the darkest waters, life finds renewal, growing from the bones of giants in silence and peace. The beluga whales can mimic human speech patterns. In the cold northern seas, beluga whales are known as the canaries of the ocean, social, talkative, endlessly curious. But among their many vocal talents lies something extraordinary. Some can imitate human speech. In aquariums, divers have reported hearing muffled voices coming from tanks, only to discover a beluga shaping sounds uncannily like words. One whale named NOC was even recorded producing rhythmic bursts resembling sentences, so convincing that researchers initially mistook them for human chatter. Belugas have flexible lips and nasal cavities that allow them to modify pitch and tone with precision. In the wild, their calls echo through the ice in an ever-changing symphony of whistles, clicks, and chirps. Scientists believe they use this vocal range to coordinate travel beneath frozen seas and to bond socially. Their mimicry reveals more than intelligence. It suggests curiosity about us, a desire to connect across species and sound. Some shrimp glow in ultraviolet light, hidden among coral branches and sponges. Some shrimp carry secrets invisible to human eyes. Under ultraviolet light, their shells blaze with fluorescent patterns, swirling greens, blues, and reds, that other sea creatures can see but we cannot. Scientists suspect these glowing designs act as a hidden communication system, signaling mates or warning rivals in a private wavelength. One species, the anemone shrimp, glows like stained glass when viewed through filters that mimic shrimp vision. This hidden luminescence helps them blend in with corals that fluoresce the same way, making them vanish into color itself. The ocean is full of ultraviolet messages, invisible constellations shining just beyond our perception. These shrimp live their lives in that unseen spectrum, turning light into language in ways we're only beginning to understand. In the sun-dappled shallows, they shimmer in code, bright whispers of a spectrum made for other eyes. The oarfish can grow longer than a bus. The oarfish is a creature of legend, a silver ribbon of life that can stretch more than 30 feet long, gliding upright through the deep like a ghostly banner. For centuries, sightings of these sinuous giants inspired tales of sea serpents rising from the abyss. Yet the truth is even stranger. The oarfish is a gentle plankton feeder, its delicate fins rippling like silk as it moves. It lives in the twilight zone, far below the reach of sunlight, surfacing only when sick or dying. Its massive size and gleaming skin make it one of the longest bony fish on Earth. Scientists believe oarfish may occasionally wash ashore before earthquakes, sensitive to tremors and shifts in the seafloor. Whether that legend holds truth or not, the oarfish remains a living mystery, a silvery ribbon that ties myth and reality together in the moving fabric of the sea. Horseshoe crabs have blue blood rich in copper. Along ancient shores, horseshoe crabs crawl through the surf, unchanged for hundreds of millions of years. Their blood runs blue, not red, because it is based on copper rather than iron. This copper binds oxygen, giving their hemolymph its distinctive color. But what makes their blood truly remarkable is its sensitivity to bacterial toxins. In modern medicine, a compound derived from horseshoe crab blood is used to test the safety of every vaccine, the fourth fluid, and surgical implant. Without them, sterile medicine would be far riskier. Though they look alien, with hard shells and spiked tails, these creatures are gentle scavengers that have outlasted dinosaurs and continents. Each night they crawl from the waves beneath the moon, carrying the chemistry of survival written in blue. Ancient and indispensable, the horseshoe crab is a quiet bridge between the prehistoric sea and the modern world. The mantis shrimp can see polarized light invisible to us. To us, the world of color ends with violet, but to the mantis shrimp, it continues far beyond. These small, fiery predators possess up to 16 types of photoreceptors, compared to our 3, and can see ultraviolet, polarized, and even circularly polarized light, a form of illumination we barely understand. In essence, they can perceive properties of light invisible to every other creature we know. This ability allows them to communicate through secret patterns on their shells, invisible to predators but obvious to one another. It also helps them spot prey hidden under sand or camouflage. To a mantis shrimp, the ocean must blaze with colors and dimensions beyond imagination, a living kaleidoscope of shimmer and angle. We can only guess what the world looks like through its eyes, but perhaps that's part of its wonder, proof that reality is always richer than perception. Some flatfish rearrange their skulls as they grow. A flatfish begins life like any other fish, symmetrical, with one eye on each side of its head. But as it grows, something remarkable happens. One eye migrates across its skull to join the other side. The skull bones twist and shift, reshaping themselves until both eyes face upward. The fish then settles sideways on the seafloor, perfectly camouflaged against sand and shadow. Species like flounder and halibut spend their lives half buried, invisible except for the flick of a fin. To scientists, this transformation is a masterpiece of developmental evolution, an animal literally reshaping its body to match its life's purpose. Watching a juvenile's eyes slowly drift across its head is both eerie and extraordinary, a quiet metamorphosis from symmetry to stillness. The result is perfection through strangeness, a body that becomes a living mirror of its world. Certain sharks can detect heartbeats. A shark's sixth sense is one of the ocean's great marvels. Along its snout and head are tiny gel-filled pores called ampullae of Lorenzini, exquisite biological sensors capable of detecting the faintest electrical fields. With them, a shark can sense the pulse of a fish's heartbeat, even buried under sand or hidden in total darkness. Some can detect electric currents as small as a billionth of a volt. This sensitivity turns the ocean into a living map, where every creature glows faintly in the shark's perception. Great whites, hammerheads, and even small reef sharks navigate and hunt through this invisible web of electricity. To them, the sea hums with quiet signals, a landscape of heartbeats and motion that we can neither see nor hear. In their world, nothing truly hides. The water itself reveals every living thing through its rhythm of life. Tuna can swim faster than most Olympic sprinters. Tuna are built for speed, sleek, muscular, and tireless. Some species can surge through the water at nearly 50 miles per hour, faster than a sprinting human and for far longer. Their streamlined bodies are shaped like living torpedoes, with retractable fins and a tail designed to slice the sea with perfect efficiency. Unlike most fish, tuna are warm-blooded, keeping their muscles at higher temperatures for explosive bursts of power. They can cross entire oceans in their migrations, chasing schools of prey and shifts in temperature. Even their muscles are red with oxygen-rich blood, built for endurance. Watching a school of tuna shimmer through blue water is like watching pure motion, energy sculpted into flesh. They remind us that life beneath the waves can match the grace of birds in flight, wings replaced by fins, air replaced by the endless blue. Some squid shoot themselves out of the water like rockets. The ocean's flying squid seem to defy logic. When threatened or hunting, they jet through the water by expelling streams from their siphons, but sometimes they take it further. By aiming their jets downward, they can launch themselves into the air, gliding dozens of feet above the surface. Their fins spread like wings, and water droplets trail behind them in glittering arcs. High-speed cameras have shown that they even flap their fins mid-air, controlling their flight path like birds. Scientists believe this behavior saves energy when escaping predators or moving quickly across open seas. To witness one is to glimpse the ocean dreaming of flight, a creature evolved for water, tasting the freedom of sky. In that fleeting glide, the line between the two worlds vanishes, and the sea itself seems to rise, suspended between waves and wind. Dolphins can remain half awake while sleeping. Unlike humans, dolphins cannot afford to lose full awareness. They must surface regularly to breathe. So nature devised a remarkable compromise. They sleep with only half their brain at a time. While one hemisphere rests, the other stays alert, controlling movement and keeping watch for danger. The awake side even keeps one eye open, scanning the dim water around them. After a few hours, the sides switch. This unihemispheric sleep allows dolphins to drift through the night in calm vigilance, always aware, yet always resting. In pods, they often synchronize this rhythm, taking turns as sentinels. It's an elegant balance, a life lived between wakefulness and dream, where rest and awareness coexist. Beneath moonlit waves, they move slowly and silently, breathing in rhythm with the tide, half in the realm of sleep, half in the endless blue. The gulper eel can swallow prey half its size. The gulper eel is one of the deep sea's strangest inhabitants, a creature of black velvet skin and a mouth far larger than its body. Its enormous jaw can open like a balloon, creating a cavern big enough to engulf prey nearly half its size. Scientists believe it uses this trick to capture scarce meals in the nutrient-poor abyss, where every encounter counts. Its tail ends in a glowing lure that flickers like a tiny lantern, drawing in curious creatures. When the gulper strikes, it expands its jaws in a swift vacuum, swallowing prey whole. Then, it drifts again through the dark, its stomach glowing faintly with bioluminescent bacteria. Few animals look more alien, yet its life is simple, a slow rhythm of hunger and light in the silence of the deep. Some fish make nests from pebbles arranged in circles. In clear freshwater streams, small fish called cichlids perform acts of quiet craftsmanship. Males gather pebbles one by one, moving them with their mouths to build circular nests on the riverbed. The patterns are often symmetrical, forming ridges and spirals that look like underwater art. These structures serve as breeding arenas. The fish court females with their design skills, the most intricate nests drawing the most attention. Scientists studying them through cameras have compared the precision to that of human architecture. When spawning is done, the nest becomes a nursery for eggs, protected by the male until the fry hatch. In those gentle, rippling waters, each nest is a love letter written in stone, proof that beauty and purpose often flow together in nature's design. Sea snakes can breathe partly through their skin. Gliding through the warm, shallow seas of the Indo-Pacific, sea snakes move like ribbons of liquid metal. Though they are reptiles and must surface to breathe, evolution has granted them a remarkable adaptation: the ability to absorb oxygen directly through their skin. Capillaries line their scales so densely that up to 1/3 of their oxygen comes this way, allowing them to dive for more than 30 minutes without surfacing. Their lungs are also unusually long, stretching nearly the entire length of their bodies, helping them regulate buoyancy. To divers, they seem almost ethereal, looping gracefully through coral gardens with flickering tongues. Despite their potent venom, they are shy and gentle, rarely biting unless provoked. They belong to two worlds, air and sea, breathing through both skin and breath, perfectly balanced between them. Lobsters keep growing and molting for their entire lives. Unlike most creatures, lobsters don't stop growing with age. Each year they shed their shells and expand, adding new layers of muscle and armor. Some scientists believe they could, in theory, live indefinitely, if not for disease, injury, or predation. Their secret lies in constant renewal, an enzyme that repairs DNA and keeps their cells young far longer than most animals. Some lobsters caught in the North Atlantic show signs of being over a century old, still strong and vibrant. When they molt, they even regrow lost claws or legs. The process is dangerous, leaving them soft and vulnerable for days. But once the new shell hardens, they are reborn, larger, tougher, and ready to continue their slow march through time. Beneath the waves, age is not decay, but transformation. Some squids can fly above the surface. When startled by predators or chasing prey, certain squid propel themselves out of the sea with explosive jets of water, their fins and arms spread wide. For a few seconds, they glide above the waves, carried by momentum and wind, sometimes traveling more than 100 feet. Observers aboard ships have seen them skipping like stones, sparkling in sunlight before splashing back into the deep. Scientists think this flight saves energy compared to swimming, a leap that costs little but covers much. In that fleeting glide, they join flying fish, seabirds, and rays in the narrow space between ocean and sky. Their movements remind us that the boundary between worlds is never fixed, that even creatures of the deep sometimes rise to taste the air. Walruses use their tusks to climb onto ice. The walrus, heavy and grand, carries its tusks not as weapons, but as tools. When resting on drifting ice floes, it drives those ivory spears into the edge and hauls itself upward, muscles rippling beneath thick folds of skin. The tusks, elongated canine teeth, also serve for dominance displays and defense. But their primary purpose is practical: leverage in a shifting, frozen world. Walruses live in tight herds, their deep bellows echoing across Arctic seas. They feed on clams, feeling for them with bristled whiskers, then sucking them clean from their shells. Despite their size, they are surprisingly gentle and social, nuzzling and touching often. Watching them haul out on ice, steam rising from their warm bodies, one sees ancient resilience, creatures built for a realm of cold and silence, where tusks become ladders to survival. The mimic octopus can impersonate other sea creatures. In the muddy estuaries of Indonesia lives a shapeshifter, the mimic octopus. With astonishing control over its skin color and texture, it can transform its body to imitate at least 15 different marine animals. When threatened, it stretches its arms and glides like a flatfish, or folds two limbs and swims with the undulating grace of a sea snake. It can even pose as a lionfish, spreading its banded arms to display false spines. These disguises are not random. The octopus seems to choose its mimicry based on the predator nearby, selecting whichever illusion offers the best protection. Scientists call it behavioral mimicry, intelligence at play in every movement. Watching a mimic octopus is like seeing imagination embodied in flesh, a creature of endless creativity, rewriting its appearance in real time to fit the story it needs to survive. Some crabs carry sea anemones as living weapons. In a partnership of elegance and danger, boxer crabs hold tiny sea anemones in their claws like pom-poms. These living stingers serve as both shield and sword, warding off predators with venomous tentacles. In return, the anemones gain bits of food and a free ride across the reef. If a crab loses one, it can gently tear the remaining anemone in half. Each half regenerates into a full clone, restoring the pair. Watching them wave their stinging companions in rhythm is mesmerizing, a blend of biology and choreography. The relationship is ancient, a symbol of balance and cooperation in the sea's constant struggle. Among coral gardens glowing with color, these tiny crustaceans perform a dance of survival, beauty, and danger, moving in perfect harmony. The colossal squid has hooks on its tentacles. Deep beneath Antarctic waters lives the colossal squid, heavier and bulkier than even the legendary giant squid. Unlike its northern cousin, it arms its tentacles not only with suckers, but with swiveling hooks, each capable of rotating to dig into flesh. These formidable weapons are built to seize large prey such as Patagonian toothfish, which themselves can reach hundreds of pounds. Yet almost nothing has ever been seen of the colossal squid alive. Our knowledge comes from rare captures and scars left on sperm whales that hunt them. Their eyes, nearly the size of dinner plates, may be the largest in the animal kingdom, built to spot faint bioluminescence far below the light's reach. Down there, in black silence, this creature reigns unseen, a shadow among shadows, its hooked arms whispering through the freezing dark. Sea sponges can filter thousands of liters of water a day. Silent, immobile, and ancient, sea sponges seem more like plants than animals, Yet, they are among the oldest forms of multicellular life. A single large sponge can filter thousands of liters of seawater each day through its porous body, extracting bacteria, plankton, and nutrients. Inside, a labyrinth of tiny channels and chambers is lined with specialized cells that beat their flagella, driving a gentle internal current. In doing so, sponges help keep ocean water clear and recycle nutrients essential to coral reefs. Some species live for thousands of years, growing slowly into massive reef-like forms. Their skeletons of silica and calcium are the architecture of ancient seas, shaping the very landscapes of the ocean floor. In their stillness lies activity, in their silence, life's persistence. Patient engineers of the underwater world, breathing for the sea itself. Some fish live in complete darkness, with no eyes at all. In the blackest reaches of the sea, far below where sunlight fades, life has found a way to thrive without sight. There are fish that live in total darkness, creatures whose world has never known light. Over countless generations, their eyes have withered away, replaced by extraordinary senses of touch, vibration, and pressure. They can detect the slightest ripple, the faintest pulse of water displaced by movement. Some even sense electric fields or chemical changes invisible to us. In these eternal shadows, sight would only waste energy. Instead, evolution granted them something subtler, awareness without vision. They navigate not through images, but through sensation, a delicate perception of flow and shape, like feeling the world instead of seeing it. Their blindness isn't a loss, but a transformation, a reminder that life will always find new ways to know its surroundings, even when the light is gone. Manatees have fingernails on their flippers. Gentle and slow, manatees drift through warm coastal waters like floating clouds of thought. Look closely at their broad flippers, and you'll see something strangely familiar. Small, rounded fingernails. Hidden beneath the skin, their flipper bones resemble a human hand, 5 digits from an ancestor that once walked on land. Those nails are tiny echoes of a time when the manatee's kin grazed on leaves instead of seagrass. Today, manatees use their flippers for steering and grazing, holding vegetation as they feed in calm, shallow bays. They are creatures of patience, often spending entire days feeding, breathing, and basking in the sunlit water. The presence of fingernails, ancient, useless, yet enduring, feels like a whisper from the past, a biological memory that never faded. It's a reminder that evolution doesn't erase its stories. It simply writes new ones atop the old. Dolphins teach each other hunting techniques. Dolphins don't just hunt, they learn, teach, and pass knowledge through generations. In certain coastal regions, researchers have documented mothers teaching calves how to use sponges as protective tools while foraging, fitting them over their snouts to probe the sandy seabed safely. Others show young dolphins how to herd fish into bait balls or drive them onto beaches with coordinated waves. These are not instincts alone, they are cultural behaviors, passed from teacher to student. In each case, learning is active, deliberate, and social. Dolphins observe, imitate, and refine their skills, forming traditions unique to each community. The idea that a marine species maintains regional cultures was once thought impossible, until dolphins revealed it to be true. Beneath the blue, they are not just animals, but thinkers and teachers, living proof that intelligence and empathy can shape evolution just as deeply as survival itself. The cookie cutter shark leaves circular wounds in prey. Deep in the night sea, the cookie cutter shark hunts by subtraction. Barely half a meter long, it attaches itself to larger creatures, whales, tuna, even submarines, and twists its jaw to carve out perfect circles of flesh. The wounds it leaves are neat, round, and shockingly uniform, as though made by a machine. Its name comes from this uncanny precision. The shark uses bioluminescent camouflage on its underside to blend into the faint glow of moonlit water, masking its silhouette from below. When a curious fish approaches, it strikes. Its teeth, shaped like serrated scoops, shear flesh cleanly in a single spin. It doesn't kill its prey. It merely takes a piece and swims away. In a world of vast predators and fragile prey, this little shark survives not through size or speed, but through efficiency, a perfect engineer of tiny, haunting wounds. Some jellyfish turn into tiny polyps after dying. Most creatures live forward, born, grown, then gone. But one jellyfish rewrites that rule. Turritopsis donyi, often called the immortal jellyfish, has found a way to reverse its own aging. When injured or starved, it transforms its adult body back into a youthful polyp stage, regenerating itself from the inside out. Each cycle begins anew, a return to innocence in a body reborn. This process, called transdifferentiation, allows its cells to change roles entirely, rebuilding organs and tissues as though turning back time. It's as if a butterfly could return to being a caterpillar and start again. Scientists studying this tiny creature see it as a key to understanding cellular immortality, the blueprint of regeneration encoded in nature's simplest forms. Drifting quietly through moonlit water, the immortal jellyfish carries within it a secret older than memory, that life, when threatened, can sometimes become its own beginning. Fish in Antarctica produce antifreeze proteins in their blood. In the icy waters around Antarctica, where temperatures drop below freezing, most fish would crystallize from the inside out. Yet the Antarctic notothenoids glide effortlessly through sub-zero seas. Their secret lies in their blood, a cocktail of antifreeze proteins that latch onto ice crystals and stop them from growing. This molecular miracle allows them to survive in conditions colder than ice itself. Their clear blood, lacking red pigments, carries oxygen slowly but efficiently in the frigid depths. These fish move with almost dreamlike calm, their bodies translucent against the pale blue of the under-ice world. Scientists have studied their blood for decades, hoping to adapt it for medicine, food preservation, and organ storage. In every heartbeat of these creatures lies the quiet defiance of life itself. Warmth drawn from chemistry, endurance sculpted from cold. Some whales have calluses that grew colonies of barnacles. Grey whales and humpbacks wear the sea itself upon their skin. Along their backs and fins, thick calluses form, rough patches that soon become home to colonies of barnacles and tiny crustaceans. These hitchhikers cling fast, feeding on plankton as the whale travels thousands of miles across oceans. The arrangement causes little harm its symbiosis in motion. Each whale carries its own unique pattern of barnacle clusters, like a fingerprint or a living map, allowing researchers to identify individuals from afar. In sunlight, the barnacles glint pale white against grey skin, turning each whale into a drifting reef. Even their scars and ridges become landscapes, supporting life as they move. These ancient giants don't just inhabit the ocean, they carry a piece of it with them, turning their immense bodies into living ecosystems that cross the world's great blue highways. Certain clams can clap their shells to move. Beneath clear water, scallops rest quietly until danger stirs nearby. Then they perform a surprising trick. With a rapid burst of motion, they clap their shells together, expelling jets of water that propel them backward through the sea. The rhythm is almost musical, a series of quick, sharp movements that send them fluttering like living fans. Their shells are lined with dozens of iridescent blue eyes that sense light and motion, warning them of predators. When the coast is clear, they settle once more on the sand, opening their shells to filter food from the current. Scallops can live for decades, growing brighter and more patterned with age. To watch one swim is to see elegance in simplicity, a creature without limbs, yet perfectly capable of flight, gliding through the sea with nothing but the applause of its own design. Coral polyps are animals that build vast reefs. Coral may look like stone, but each structure is alive, built by countless tiny coral polyps, each no bigger than a grain of rice. These soft-bodied animals secrete limestone skeletons beneath them, layer upon layer, forming reefs that can stretch for hundreds of miles. Over centuries, these colonies rise from the seafloor like slow-moving cities, home to a quarter of all marine species. The polyps host microscopic algae that convert sunlight into energy, creating a delicate partnership between animal and plant. At night, corals feed by extending their tentacles to capture drifting plankton, glowing faintly in bioluminescent hues. Each reef is a living archive of time, recording changes in temperature and current in its stony growth. Coral is proof that even the smallest creatures, working together across ages, can build monuments last enough to reshape the earth. Sea angels are transparent swimming snails. In the cold, clear waters near the poles, creatures known as sea angels drift like living glass. They are tiny, winged mollusks, relatives of snails that have shed their shells for freedom. Their bodies are translucent and ethereal, their wings beating with rhythmic grace as they flutter through icy water. Despite their delicate appearance, sea angels are hunters, feeding on equally fragile prey called sea butterflies. Their transparent forms make them nearly invisible, a shimmer of motion in an endless blue. When sunlight filters through the ice, they glow with faint inner colors, like spirits suspended in the sea. Scientists study them as examples of extreme adaptation, creatures built for beauty and survival in the most delicate balance. Watching a sea angel drift is like watching a dream pass through light, unhurried, weightless, eternal. Some fish have 4 eyes to see above and below water. The 4-eyed fish, Ainabelpes ainabelpes, spends its life near the surface, where water meets air. Each of its 2 eyes is split horizontally into separate parts, the upper half adapted for vision in air, the lower for vision underwater. With this dual perspective, the fish can watch for predators above while spotting prey below, living quite literally between 2 worlds. Its unique lenses bend light differently in each environment, allowing perfect focus in both. Schools of these fish skim the surface of tropical estuaries, their eyes glinting like jewels, forever balancing between realms. Evolution has sculpted them into living bridges between air and sea, proving that nature's imagination is boundless. In their mirrored gaze, they hold 2 perspectives at once, the reflection of sky and the dark whisper of the deep. Octopus ink not only hides them but can dull predators' senses. When an octopus feels threatened, it releases a billowing cloud of ink, a shadow born from its own body. But this isn't just camouflage. The ink contains compounds that can dull a predator's sense of smell and taste, confusing it long after the octopus has slipped away. Some species even shape the ink into decoys, ghost-like forms resembling their own silhouette. The octopus then jets off in the opposite direction, leaving behind a phantom double. The chemistry of this defense is ancient. The same pigment, melanin, that gives color to human skin and hair. The result is a masterpiece of misdirection, sensory sabotage disguised as smoke. In a single pulse, the octopus disappears, a creature of mind and muscle fading into nothing. It's not just escape, it's art, drawn in water and memory. Seahorses can move each eye independently. The seahorse, delicate and upright, seems almost meditative as it drifts among seagrass. Its secret, though, lies in its gaze. Each of its large, expressive eyes can move independently, scanning in opposite directions at once. One eye might watch for predators while the other searches for prey, two perspectives feeding a single mind. When it locks onto a tiny crustacean, both eyes suddenly converge, measuring distance with uncanny precision before it strikes with a lightning-fast snout. This dual vision gives the seahorse near complete awareness of its surroundings, a quiet mastery of observation. Even during courtship, pairs synchronize their movements, their eyes flicking in mirrored patterns. To watch a seahorse is to glimpse mindfulness in motion, calm, focused, endlessly aware of the world in every direction at once. Male anglerfish shrink after fusing to females. In the crushing blackness of the deep ocean, finding a mate can be nearly impossible. So the anglerfish evolved a haunting solution. When the tiny male encounters a female, often 10 times his size, he bites onto her body and fuses with her flesh. Over time, his organs dissolve, his body shrinking until only his gonads remain. He becomes a permanent part of her, nourished by her blood, existing solely to fertilize her eggs. Some females carry several fused males, each a small, living appendage. This bizarre form of symbiosis ensures that even in the vast, lightless abyss, reproduction never fails. It's a love story written in biology, not romance as we know it, but connection at its most literal and unbreakable. Two lives intertwined, one absorbed completely into the other, becoming one creature adrift in eternal night. Certain lobsters use urine to communicate. Among the rocky reefs where lobsters rule, conversation happens through chemistry. When two lobsters meet, whether to court, compete, or cooperate, they spray jets of urine from openings near their antennae. These chemical plumes carry detailed information about identity, mood, and hierarchy. Dominant lobsters produce distinct signatures that signal strength, reducing the need for physical fights. During mating, scent trails act as invitations, guiding partners together in the dim water. Researchers have even found that lobsters can remember familiar individuals by their scent alone. In the darkness of the sea, where sound travels but sight fades, communication becomes perfume. Messages carried not in words, but in invisible waves of memory and instinct. It's a social network written in water, ancient, subtle, and utterly silent. The frilled shark is called a living fossil. The frilled shark drifts through the depths like a memory of prehistory. With its long serpentine body and rows of needle-like teeth, it looks more dragon than fish. This species has remained virtually unchanged for more than 80 million years, surviving mass extinctions and shifting continents. Its gills aligned with frilly edges, the feature that gives it its name, and its slow, graceful movements make it seem as if it's swimming through time itself. Living deep below sunlight, the frilled shark hunts squid and fish with lightning-fast lunges. Its jaw can extend suddenly forward, snaring prey with a trap of recurved teeth that prevent escape. It's a design so perfect that evolution never needed to alter it. Watching this ancient creature glide through modern oceans is like seeing the past still breathing, unhurried and eternal. Some squids have light organs that attract prey. In the endless darkness of the deep, light becomes both weapon and lure. Many squids carry glowing organs called photophores that shine with bioluminescent bacteria. They use these lights to attract prey or to blend against the faint glow from above, erasing their shadows from predators below, a camouflage called counterillumination. Some species can flash or dim their lights in complex patterns, signaling others or startling attackers. To human eyes, they look like living lanterns, drifting galaxies of soft blue and green. The deep ocean is full of such radiant tricksters, creatures that learn to survive by creating their own light. In their glow, the darkness becomes alive, every flicker a silent heartbeat of the abyss. Dolphins blow bubble rings for play. Not all intelligence exists for survival. Some exist simply to create joy. Dolphins are known to form perfect, shimmering rings of air underwater, spinning halos that drift upward like silver circles of light. They nudge these bubbles with their snouts, split them into smaller ones, or swim gracefully through them. Young dolphins learn the technique from older ones, turning it into a social game passed through generations. There's no reward beyond fascination, the beauty of motion and the pleasure of control. Scientists believe this behavior demonstrates creativity, curiosity, and a sense of wonder rare in the animal world. Beneath the waves, these creatures create art from breath itself, sculpting play into poetry. Their laughter-like clicks echo softly through the blue, reminding us that joy, too, is part of intelligence. Some fish survive freezing solid and thawing alive. In Arctic lakes and polar seas, certain fish endure winters so cold that their bodies freeze solid. Their hearts stop, their blood turns to slush, yet they do not die. Inside them, special proteins and sugars protect cells from ice damage, holding life in suspended animation. When spring returns and the water warms, these fish thaw slowly, heartbeat resuming as though nothing happened. It's a cycle of deathless sleep, nature's own version of cryogenic preservation. Scientists study these creatures to understand how life can pause and resume, hoping to apply their secrets to medicine and space travel. Beneath the ice, the fish drift in perfect stillness, waiting patiently for the world to wake. In their silence lies the ultimate resilience, the power to freeze, rest, and live again. The giant clam's flesh glows from algae living inside it. On the coral reefs of the Pacific, giant clams rest like living jewels. Their massive shells open wide to reveal rippling mantles that shimmer with blue, green, and gold light. This radiance comes from millions of microscopic algae living inside the clam's flesh. The algae use sunlight to photosynthesize, providing nutrients for their host, while the clam shelters them in return, a partnership of light and life. Special iridescent cells scatter sunlight deep into the tissue, ensuring that even dim rays reach the algae below. Some giant clams can live for over a century, growing larger than bathtubs, their luminous mantles glowing like stained glass beneath the waves. They are living windows into cooperation itself, two beings merged into one, thriving together in the warm hush of the sea. Some shrimp can snap their claws to make sound weapons. In the coral shallows, where light dances on sand, lives a creature no longer than your finger, the pistol shrimp. One of its claws is much larger than the other, built like a living cannon. When it snaps this claw shut, it ejects a tiny bubble that collapses instantly, creating a shockwave loud enough to stun or kill prey. The implosion briefly reaches temperatures hotter than the surface of the sun and produces a faint flash of light. This sound, one of the loudest made by any animal, echoes like underwater thunder. Yet the pistol shrimp itself is small, fragile, and shy, often living in burrows it shares with gobies, warning them of danger in exchange for shelter. Its power is not in size, but in speed, a reminder that even the smallest creatures can wield forces vast enough to reshape the water around them. Sea snakes give birth to live young in the open ocean. Far from shore, among rolling waves and endless blue, sea snakes drift effortlessly through tropical seas. Unlike their land-dwelling cousins, they never need to return to land. They breathe air, but can hold their breath for over an hour, and their flattened tails work like paddles, propelling them gracefully through water. Most remarkable of all, they give birth to live young in the open ocean. Tiny snakes emerge fully formed, ready to swim and hunt on their own. This adaptation frees them entirely from the land, allowing generations to unfold without ever touching soil. Females sometimes carry dozens of embryos, each coiled within, like a small secret waiting to awaken. When the young are born, they rise for their first breath, a moment as ancient as the sea itself. To live and give life at sea is the ultimate surrender to water, a commitment written in scales and salt. Clownfish form strict hierarchies in their groups. Within each sea anemone's bright tangle of tentacles lives a small society of clownfish, colorful, orderly, and surprisingly disciplined. Every group follows a precise hierarchy based on size. At the top is a dominant female, the largest fish in the group. Below her is a single breeding male, and beneath them are several smaller, non-breeding males. If the female dies, the breeding male changes sex and takes her place, while the next male in line becomes her new partner. This structure ensures balance and stability, minimizing conflict within the tight confines of their anemone home. The anemone's stinging tentacles protect them from predators, while the clownfish keep it clean and free of parasites. It's a perfect circle of cooperation, social order, chemistry, and biology intertwined. The small world may be tiny, but within it thrives one of nature's most beautifully balanced partnerships. Jellyfish have no brains but complex nerve nets. A jellyfish drifts with the current, translucent and serene, a creature made of water and light. It has no brain, no heart, no bones, yet it senses, moves, and hunts with remarkable precision. Instead of the central nervous system, it possesses a nerve net, a web of neurons spread through its gelatinous body. This decentralized network allows it to detect movement, light, and chemical signals from all directions at once. It can contract its bell in rhythmic pulses, navigate currents, and respond instantly to danger. Some species even have simple eyes capable of sensing color and horizon. To us, such simplicity might seem primitive, but it is elegant, a design of pure function. In the dark sea, the jellyfish doesn't think it feels. It moves not with intention, but with harmony, an organism perfectly tuned to the breathing rhythm of the ocean itself. Some deep-sea fish use lures that dangle from their heads. In the black depths of the abyss, where sunlight has never reached, predators have turned light itself into a weapon. Many deep-sea fish, such as the anglerfish, grow fleshy extensions from their heads tipped with glowing lures. These lights, powered by symbiotic bacteria, pulse softly like stars in the void. Curious prey approach, drawn by the glow, and in that instant, the predator strikes. The light vanishes, replaced by teeth as thin as glass and twice as sharp. In this world, illumination means deception. Beauty hides hunger. Some species can even control their light, bending, dimming, or flashing it like a living lantern. To human eyes, the scene seems ghostly. Constellations adrift in darkness, each a mouth waiting to open. In the deep sea, even the smallest spark is power. Rays have spiracles to breathe while buried in sand. Beneath the sandy floors of worn lagoons, stingrays rest invisibly, covered in a fine dusting of sediment. Yet even buried, they breathe, thanks to small openings behind their eyes called spiracles. Instead of drawing in water through their mouths, which would fill with sand, they pull clean water through these hidden gills and pass it over their respiratory organs. This simple design lets them remain still for hours, conserving energy and staying hidden from predators. The only sign of their presence is the slow rise and fall of sand as they breathe. When startled, they burst upward in a graceful swirl of sediment, their diamond-shaped bodies slicing effortlessly through the water. The spiracle is a quiet marvel of adaptation, allowing stillness itself to become survival. The art of vanishing into the world's softest element. Sharks replace their teeth thousands of times in a lifetime. A shark's mouth is a revolving factory of blades. Inside its gums, multiple rows of replacement teeth are constantly growing, moving forward like a conveyor belt. When one tooth breaks or falls out, another slides into place within days. Some sharks may lose and replace more than 20,000 teeth over a lifetime. Each tooth is perfectly shaped for its task, triangular and serrated for cutting, needle-like for gripping slippery prey. This endless renewal ensures the shark is always armed for survival, an ancient design honed over 400 million years. Yet for all their reputation as hunters, sharks are also keepers of balance, pruning the weak and maintaining healthy ecosystems. Their teeth, scattered across the seafloor, fossilize easily, tiny echoes of an evolutionary masterpiece that has outlasted empires, extinctions, and time itself. Some sea stars can eject their stomachs to eat prey. Sea stars feed in a way that seems almost impossible. When they find a mussel or clam, they pry it open slightly with their tube feet, then push their stomachs out through their mouths, inserting them between the shells. Digestive enzymes dissolve the prey right where it lies. When the meal is over, the stomach retracts neatly back inside. This bizarre process allows sea stars to eat prey much larger than their mouths. Some species can even regenerate lost arms or parts of their bodies, rebuilding themselves from fragments. They move slowly, but their patience is deceptive. Every motion deliberate, every action efficient. In tide pools and coral reefs, sea stars are both gentle and formidable, proof that the quietest creatures often wield the most astonishing powers. Dolphins herd fish into tight bait balls to hunt. In the open sea, dolphins turn hunting into choreography. Working in teams, they circle schools of fish, driving them together into tight swirling masses called bait balls. Some dolphins dive deep, pushing the school upward, while others leap and slap the surface, disorienting the fish with sound and motion. Once the ball is formed, they take turns darting through it, snapping up prey in coordinated bursts. Seabirds dive from above, joining the frenzy in an explosion of movement and light. The level of communication and teamwork is extraordinary, a display of intelligence and strategy that rivals any human hunt. When the feast ends, the sea quiets, and the dolphins drift apart again, their sleek shapes gliding in calm formation. What remains is not chaos, but choreography, a dance of minds that think and move as one. Some squid shoot glowing ink instead of dark ink. In the twilight depths where sunlight fades, some squids defend themselves not with darkness, but with light. When threatened, they release a cloud of bioluminescent mucus that glows a ghostly blue-green. This luminous ink confuses predators, acting as both distraction and decoy. To creatures of the deep, it must look like a burst of stars suddenly appearing, then vanishing into black. The squid, meanwhile, disappears in the opposite direction, leaving only the glow behind. This defense, rare and hauntingly beautiful, transforms escape into spectacle. Scientists believe it evolved as a countermeasure against predators that hunt by light, turning visibility into invisibility. Even in danger, the ocean finds a way to make beauty, a flash of brilliance that fades into stillness, like a dream dissolving back into night. The leaf sheep sea slug looks like a cartoon sheep. Among coral gardens of the Indo-Pacific lives a creature so whimsical it seems imaginary, the leaf-sheep sea slug. Barely an inch long, it resembles a tiny green sheep, complete with black eyes and ear-like rhinophores. Its body is covered in leaf-shaped appendages filled with stolen chloroplasts, the parts of algae that capture sunlight. These allow the slug to perform photosynthesis just like a plant, generating energy directly from light. Its glowing green color comes from this living fusion of animal and plant. Scientists call it kleptoplasty, the act of stealing light. Floating among seaweed, the leaf sheep grazes peacefully, blending perfectly into its luminous home. Watching one feels like seeing evolution smile, a reminder that even in science, there's room for joy, wonder, and life that looks like art. Some fish can climb waterfalls with suction cup fins. In the volcanic islands of the Pacific, small goby fish perform one of the sea's most extraordinary journeys. Born in the ocean, they migrate upstream into mountain rivers to grow and breed. Along the way, they must climb waterfalls, sometimes hundreds of feet tall. To do this, they use suction cup-like fins formed from fused pelvic and mouth parts, allowing them to cling to wet rock and inch upward against roaring water. The climb can take days, yet they persist, their tiny bodies pressed against stone, driven by instinct and endurance. When they finally reach the pools above, they transform into adults, ready to repeat the cycle. Their journey is a quiet triumph, proof that determination flows even in creatures small enough to fit in a child's palm. Whales create nutrient whale falls that feed ecosystems. When a whale dies and sinks into the abyss, it becomes a world of its own. The carcass, weighing many tons, settles on the sea floor and begins a slow transformation. Scavengers arrive first: crabs, worms, and hagfish, followed by bacteria that feed on oils and bones. Over time, a whale fall sustains an entire ecosystem for decades, providing food and shelter in the deep where life is scarce. Scientists have discovered hundreds of unique species that live only on whale falls, thriving in this temporary paradise. Even in death, the whale nourishes life, completing a cycle as vast as its journeys in life. Its fall is not an ending but a beginning, a final act of generosity from one of the ocean's greatest travelers. Sharks have tiny teeth on their skin called denticles. A shark's sleek glide through water hides a secret. Its skin is covered in microscopic teeth. These structures, called dermal denticles, reduce drag and turbulence as the shark swims, allowing it to move silently and efficiently. Each denticle is shaped like a tiny diamond blade, directing water flow across the shark's body. Engineers have studied this design for inspiration, creating swimsuits and aircraft coatings that mimic its frictionless properties. To predators, this texture provides armor to prey. It offers speed. Run your hand the wrong way along a shark's body, and it feels like sandpaper, proof of evolution's craftsmanship on the smallest scale. In every motion, the shark carries millions of teeth that never bite, each one sharpening the poetry of motion itself. The lanternfish may be the most abundant vertebrate on Earth. Far below the surface, in the ocean's twilight zone, billions of lanternfish drift in slow, luminous clouds. Each carries a constellation of glowing photophores along its belly, lighting the dark with soft pulses of blue. Every night, they rise toward the surface to feed, then descend again by dawn, a vertical migration that shapes the planet's carbon cycle. Scientists believe lanternfish may be the most numerous vertebrate species on Earth, their combined biomass greater than that of all land mammals. Despite their abundance, they remain mostly unseen, their lives hidden in shadow. Yet their daily movement drives one of the planet's most important energy exchanges, drawing carbon downward, feeding larger predators and binding the surface to the depths. They are the quiet heartbeat of the ocean, the unseen multitudes that keep the blue world alive. Some crabs live only in discarded snail shells. Hermit crabs are nomads of the sea, born without shells of their own. To survive, they search for empty snail shells to inhabit, choosing those that fit their curling bodies perfectly. As they grow, they must find new homes, a constant cycle of searching, swapping, and moving on. When resources are scarce, groups of hermit crabs sometimes gather and exchange shells in orderly chains, each crab taking the next largest one available. It's cooperation disguised as chaos, a social ritual of survival. Their shells protect them from predators, yet they remain temporary, homes borrowed from the dead. Watching a hermit crab scuttle across the sand, dragging its spiraled refuge, feels like watching the sea's eternal tenant, carrying history on its back, never settling, always searching. Dolphins have been observed teaching young how to use tools. Among certain dolphin populations, mothers are teachers. In the clear shallows of Shark Bay, Australia, they've been observed showing calves how to use sea sponges as tools, fitting them over their snouts to protect against sharp rocks while foraging. The young learn through imitation, repeating the act until they master it. This behavior, passed down through generations, represents culture, knowledge shared socially rather than genetically. Dolphins who use tools hunt differently, accessing food others cannot. It's a quiet revolution of learning, where wisdom replaces instinct. Watching them work is like glimpsing a reflection of ourselves, curiosity, patience, and memory, forming the roots of culture in the deep. Beneath the waves, intelligence takes many forms, but in the dolphin, it feels almost familiar. Thought and tenderness, wrapped in the language of play. Swordfish can heat their brains and eyes for sharper vision. Swordfish are built for speed and precision. Beneath their long, blade-like bills lies a remarkable adaptation. Special muscles that generate heat around their eyes and brain. This internal warmth keeps their vision sharp in the cold depths where they hunt. Most fish slow down as the temperature drops, but swordfish remain alert, their reflexes lightning fast even hundreds of feet below the surface. The heat also prevents their retinas from freezing, letting them track prey with stunning accuracy. Few creatures possess such control. It's as though they carry a furnace of focus within their skulls. With their bodies built for motion and minds warmed by fire, swordfish carve through the blue with elegance and intent, their eyes glowing with the light of evolution's quiet genius. Octopuses can unscrew jars from the inside to escape. Octopuses are masters of problem-solving, thinkers in liquid form. In aquariums, they've been known to twist open jar lids from the inside, feeling each groove and turning it with uncanny precision until it releases. Each of their 8 arms contains its own mini nervous system, capable of acting semi-independently, giving them a level of coordination beyond most creatures. They explore with curiosity, tasting the world through their suckers, learning through play and memory. When confined, they plot escapes, slipping through gaps no larger than their beaks. To watch one solve a problem is to see intelligence in motion, flexible, creative, and deeply alive. The octopus doesn't think as we do. It feels its way through thought, an alien mind wrapped in soft flesh, forever seeking freedom through touch. Some fish go red in the deep sea where red light cannot reach. In the ocean's abyss, red light is the first to vanish. For most creatures, it's invisible, swallowed by darkness just a few meters below the surface. But some fish have evolved the power to produce their own red bioluminescence, creating a secret color language in the deep. To them, it's invisible ink, unseen by most predators, yet perfectly visible to their own kind. Dragonfish and flashlight fish use this hidden light to communicate and hunt without revealing themselves. In a world of blues and blacks, red becomes invisibility, stealth turned radiant. It's a strange paradox, a light designed not to be seen. Down in the quiet dark, these fish move like ghosts carrying embers, whispering through wavelengths that no other eye can find. And now, as the tides settle and the last ripples fade, the ocean grows still again. All around us, the world beneath the waves continues its quiet work. The soft pulse of coral breathing, the slow glide of manta rays through moonlit water, the drifting glow of plankton, like tiny stars in motion. Every creature, from the smallest shrimp to the largest whale, moves in rhythm with the same ancient song, a lullaby older than mountains, steady as a heartbeat. You wandered tonight through coral cities and frozen seas, through realms of color and silence and bioluminescent light. You've seen lives that bloom without sunlight, voices that travel through water, and worlds built from patience and adaptation. And even now, as you rest, that hidden ocean continues, vast, calm, and alive, rolling endlessly beneath the surface of the earth. There's something deeply comforting about that thought, that while we sleep, the sea keeps its quiet vigil, timeless, tireless, full of life that neither hurries nor waits. It reminds us that the world is larger than we can ever see, and more intricate than we can ever measure. That beneath every wave lies another mystery, another story waiting to be discovered when morning comes. So as you close your eyes, imagine yourself adrift in that tranquil blue. No weight, no sound, only the soft rhythm of waves moving around you. Above, the light fades to silver. Below, darkness glows with faint, living sparks. The water carries you gently, without direction, without demand, a cradle of motion, ancient and infinite. Breathe slowly, like the tide returning to shore. Let your thoughts drift like sand beneath the waves, reshaped by every exhale. The ocean is still here, endless, patient, and kind. And if you happen to still be awake, you can go ahead and watch the next video when you're ready. But if sleep has already found you, then let it carry you deeper, past the waves, past the light, into the calm heart of the sea itself. May your dreams tonight move with the rhythm of the water. May they carry you gently to the quiet places where wonder never ends. Good night.